To the geologist wondering what now? By Chanda Chabala, resource geology consultant. When I graduated from the University of Zambia with my degree in hand, stepping into a different world of corporate responsibility came with more confusion than clarity. I had stepped into that world carrying uncertainty instead of direction. There was no clear career path ahead of me, just possibilities, all equally distant and undefined. I was qualified but not yet anchored. The world expected a graduate to have direction, but I had none. I had no defined path and no clear vision, but just a quiet question lingering in my mind. What now? I stepped into the role of production geologist almost immediately after graduation with zero experience, and my head was full of calculus, sedimentology, field mapping, and high expectation of good pay at the end of the month. At first, I was simply trying to survive the demands of the job and provide for my family, help dad out with everyday struggle of looking after and taking care of a family of 9. However, something unexpected caught my attention and made me define a boundary between working for a living and finding joy and purpose in my work. Something began to take shape. I became fascinated with grade control processes, particularly the concept behind or markups and waste delineation. There was precision in it, a quiet intelligence in how decisions were made and executed. The precision, structure, and concept behind grade control, especially the standard operating procedures that governed or markups and waste delineation, was quite fascinating. There was something almost artistic about it. Lines drawn between ore and waste represented decisions worth millions. I found myself fascinated by how these decisions were made. Years passed, and then came a moment that quietly changed everything. I was given the opportunity to be trained by data mine consultants. The consultants flew in from South Africa carrying nothing but laptops and confidence. Within 4 days, they transformed our entire workflow. What had once been a long, exhausting process filled with stress and human error became something else entirely. We used to spend hours wrestling with tasks. The consultants reduced that effort to minutes. That was the moment the fire was lit. I did not just see efficiency. I saw power. The kind of power that reshapes how work is done. The kind of power that commands respect without saying a word. The idea that something as complex and high stakes as or delineation could be standardized, replicated, and executed without error felt almost like unlocking a hidden layer of geology, and in that moment, a question formed clearly in my mind. How long will it take me to become that good? That question stayed with me each day, each month, and for years. I had found my purpose. I had found my life goal. I had found the reason to be happy at work every coming Monday. Datamine Consultant left a script which processed and defined our workflow. The script became my biggest obsession and addiction. It created a path into a world of automation. I read it repeatedly, line by line, trying to understand the thought process and design. I noticed patterns and realized that the script was built on a combination of 2 programming languages working together with StudioRM commands. I had no idea about computer programming. However, I knew that if I could understand this, I would not just be another geologist. I would be operating on a different level, and that shifted my mindset from admiration to pursuit. I decided to trade comfort for growth. Work officially ended at 16:30, but I stayed behind until 2100 hours just to get access to data mine license. That privilege was reserved for senior geologists. I was not supposed to have my hands on those licenses, but I found a way to use them. I would ask the senior geologists to unlock licenses as they left work. It was like negotiating for a discount when buying cocaine, but it worked. Transport after 1900 hours was unreliable and often stressful. Every evening became a small gamble. But I understood the fact that if I protected my comfort, I would be sacrificing my future. The learning curve was steep, but every small breakthrough reinforced the same belief. I was getting closer. What once looked like magic slowly became logic. The question I once asked myself, how long will it take me to be that good, was no longer a distant thought. It had become a lived answer. Nearly 15 years later, I found myself standing in a place that once felt distant. I am the consultant, not just any consultant, but the kind I once admired. The one who walks into operations, studies inefficiencies, and builds solutions that change how teams function. The one who replaces hours of uncertainty with minutes of clarity. There is fulfillment in that. A deep, quiet satisfaction. When I joined Datamine Africa, Not once but twice. That was my I have arrived moment. But what I discovered there was unexpected. Arrival is not an endpoint. It is an expansion. Being inside that environment did not close the journey. The goals became bigger, the expectations became higher, and my ambition is now deeper because now I am not chasing excellence. I am surrounded by it. Fulfillment now comes from what I can enable. Ambition does not end when a goal is reached. It evolves. Now the question is no longer about becoming. It is about multiplying. There are geologists today standing where I once stood, uncertain, curious, capable, but unaware of their potential with no mentor in sight. My legacy cannot just be the systems I build or the workflows I automate. It must be the people I elevate. The real power of ambition is not in achieving what you once imagined. It is in becoming proof that it was always possible. And if there is one truth I carry forward, it is this: if you can imagine it, you can become it. If it seems like there is no clarity nor direction in your career and you are feeling unsure, I would like you to know that you don't need all the answers today. Curiosity is enough to start. Mastery comes quietly, not overnight. Imagine yourself at a higher standard. You will grow into it. I have seen it all. It is now time for the next phase of my life, writing to help geologists define their career path. I must exhaust this God-given talent and die empty. Thank you for listening to this audio. Stay positive, stay focused, and hope is all we all have. Don't ever lose hope.